Hi Truthers, welcome back to my channel, Nutritious Lives and the Wellbeing Guinea Pig. Today I want to talk to you about acceptance, but I want to talk to you about acceptance in another way. It's not directly about anxiety today, it's more to do with love and accepting things that we can't change in love. And I'm dealing with this because, for one, it's something that I'm very currently going through in my own life, accepting that I've broke up with somebody that I fell in love with. And also because going forward with the life coaching and everything that I want to do, it's not just about being an anxiety coach, and it's not just about being a nutritional coach, and it's really wanting to deal with interpersonal relationships, anything that we go through which involves our emotions in life. So I'm dealing with this because it's very current and revelations that I've come to within my own existence at the minute, and I think it's very heartfelt and very real, and I like to talk about real subjects, and I'm very deep with emotions, of course, and that's Jen. That's where I choose to sit, and I'm comfortable to sit. However, I realise that everyone has a very unique view of love and what it means to be in love. And this is a lesson that I'm learning that I didn't really understand before. A lot of it comes down to what's called our attachment style. So, there's different styles of attaching, and this comes back to, our adolescence as children, as teenagers, all our interpersonal relationships. But really, our attachment style is indicative of the way that we view love, and namely, falling in love in the chemical sense with the opposite sex, or same sex, whatever, finding a love partner. And I didn't really understand. I thought, again, the same with not really understanding about anxiety previously. I thought when you fell in love, and love meant the same thing from a woman's point of view to a man's point of view. You fall in love, you express you love each other, and it's a done deal. You're both in love. And from my own point of view, and I need to tell you about my own viewpoint and the vision that I see love is growing up. Even though I went through emotional issues, so I went through a certain amount of abuse, which I've talked about. I never carried massively negative associations with the opposite sex. However, my brain framed the experiences that I went through. I didn't hold on to it on a subconscious level and carry it around where it hardened me to the opposite sex. So falling in love for me was extremely what I would perceive as quite easy. There was never any blockages that stopped me. And I think one thing that really helped me to maintain this viewpoint was the special nature of how I viewed my father. So my father was always my hero in my eyes. He was a gentleman. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He was a people person. He was passionate. He fought for other people's rights. That was the viewpoint that I carried. That figure was bigger than anything that I went through with regards to the abuse, if that makes sense. So that was the biggest part of me, and I grew up watching Walt Disney. So really, I kind of had this view of the prince on his horse, coming to save me, you know, I'm the princess and love saves the day. And you know, when a woman and a man, or when you find love, that that love will conquer all. You know, you fight for that love, you're passionate about that love, you will, you know, you do what's required to show that other person how much you care, and you know, you're sensitive to that, all the things that in my eyes is love to me. But I realise that the biggest part of me is my heart space. And so what I've realised is that love for me, it's my soft space. It's the biggest, it's the thing that is the biggest part of what keeps me going, passion. And I've realised that I go through these emotional issues, but I'm meant to go through that because the biggest part of me always brings me back to my heart. So it makes perfect sense the way I would view falling in love with this very romantic notion of what love is. But what I've learned is, and the biggest thing, what I've got to, coming back to accepting and understanding, is that everybody's got their own viewpoint of what love is through their eyes. So I now understand through attachment styles, through experience, through, you know, so the person that I fell in love with had a totally different viewpoint on love, and even though the words were said and the you know, it felt like it was love on my end, I realised that due to the other party's circumstances, that their idea of love was totally different to mine. Like, you know, and I'm not gonna go into specifics here. It's just as a general view, but you know, there could be abuse on the other end of the spectrum, and I talk about this with my friend. You know, we talk about abuse that we've gone through together, and their way of dealing with that was to put walls up, was to sort of make love a thing where the barrier is up there and the wall is up, and to not trust, almost to not trust, and this is what you have to realise. So if you're going through a situation where love has broken down, and from your own viewpoint you can't really understand why that would be, because you said and did all the right things, and you felt like you were rejected because it didn't go the way that you thought of in your mind's eye, your perception of love. I want you to know that it's no reflection on you. And this is a big thing that I'm learning right now, and I'm accepting that I haven't got the power to change somebody else's viewpoint on love. I can't make them see the vision that I have of love. They can only see it from their own eyes, which could be that love's scary. It could be that they've gone through experiences where love has made it, you know, these experience of these relationships, be going through things with friends, going through things with their parents, going through things with past partners. It's all to do with the way that you frame it. So if the other parties carried these negative associations around with love, if they've carried these thought processes that love is a painful thing and love is going to hurt me and I can't invest too much time into love because it's something that I'm not really sure of, and I don't know how this is uncertainty. I don't know how this is going to go. I don't really know what I'm doing with this. You've got to understand that is no reflection of you. And sometimes we get ourselves into this situation because when love ends and we feel rejected, we try and backtrack and think, what did I do wrong? Like, what is it fundamentally say about me, this rejection? But it's not about you, and this is what I want you to understand, that it's not about a reflection on you. And I've had to realise this of late, and I've had to accept there's certain things that I've got no control of. All I can control with my situation is, did I love? Yeah. Did I express my love? Did I show up? Did I give my love? Yeah. If you did everything your end, where you were kind, considerate, loving, thoughtful, giving, then that's all you can do. And you can't bend or be anything that you're not. Like, you can't, and I want you to understand that this cycle could go on. So because I want my experiences to always make me supple, always keep me in my heart space, always bring me back to my set point, I've got a choice. So my experience, and this is what I want you to understand about accepting and realise it's not about you, is because I could quite easily at this point have loved and have lost and have projected that loss onto myself, that fundamentally there's something wrong within me, and I could carry on that cycle. I could carry on that cycle of, now I've gone through love and loss, and I now carry that forward, where I don't trust in the future because I gave my heart, and then giving my heart meant I had a broken heart. So that cycle of not trusting and not being able to fully love carries on, and I can't do that. I can't, and I refuse to do that, because I can't change my colours to fit somebody else's palette, almost, if that makes sense. They have to deal with their own feelings. If they can't sit with being able to really give love and know what it feels like to really receive love, then that is something that they have to come to within their own time, their own way. The mistake I made was that I really willed for the person that I'd given my heart to see my way, to see that love is a beautiful thing, and I want to show you what love is, but I haven't got that power, because you cannot change somebody else. They have to. And it's the same with me going through anxiety and these emotional issues. I can sympathise, I can empathise until I've walked this path of learning these lessons myself. I'm never going to understand what it feels like to carry blockages around. Like, for me, if it makes sense, everything that I do, because I live in my heart space, and my whole way of looking at life is that I never want to die with the colours, with my music still inside of me. I want to be able to really, I want to say that when I die, I've sung my song. Like, I feel very passionately that we're all here for a reason. And my reason is to help other people. It's to sit in my heart, to listen, to sympathise, to empathise, to give and receive and communicate and raise the vibration, to raise vibration to love, to sit in that love. But that's me, you know, that is what I'm here for. And I believe that we're all here for a reason. But unless you want to look within and find the own music within you and find what really is your purpose on this earth, nobody else can tell you to go on this journey. You know, nobody else. I can see, and I'm really good, and one of, you know, why I'm so why I've been put on this earth to do this is because I can read energies. And I realised that I never utilised it properly in the past, because I would feel energies, and I would take that as a reflection of, and I would take that energy and then question myself because of that energy of somebody else. And what I realise now is when I read other people's energies, it shows me how emotionally mature someone is. And I mean, and I don't mean that in a detrimental way, because it's only where they are on their own journey in life and what their own discoveries have brought them to at that point. But and that is my gift. And so when people come into my life, and you know, with this certain person that I gave my heart to, I wanted to give that love, and I wanted to give that same level of freedom to that person, but they weren't ready to receive the gift, you know, because they weren't ready to look within and do the work, the discovering within, to allow them to release the blockages from the past emotionally, which would allow the love to be felt and to be able to have that freedom to give love in a way that, you know, we would have been able to give if we hadn't have had those negative experiences. So, you know, and it's very deep and it's very profound, but when we come into this life, our souls are pure. That our souls are pure in the sense that as babies, our mission, it's already given to us. However, these experiences make our mind hold on to negative and positive associations that take us away from the love that we're supposed to naturally have within, and we're supposed to be able to give naturally. So the point I'm trying to make is, when you can't understand and when you've done the right things, and I can understand if you were doing detrimental things because of your own blockages, so you were maybe slightly toxic within a relationship, and you need to reflect and come back to with your own conclusions of where you went wrong within that situation. I feel like that's very healthy. But when something's happened where it breaks down and you aren't necessarily given the answers to why, and you felt like you loved from a pure place, please don't let it change who you are, because you are repeating the cycle, and you're just carrying such negativity around within your body and your brain, and this comes out within dis-ease, because unless you allow the accept and allow the feelings to be there and really feel the feelings, like I'm practicing this at the moment, as I'm giving you this, I've now, luckily, I would say, I didn't have the answers. I didn't have a conclusion to the breakdown of this particular love relationship that I went through. I wasn't given reasons, so I held on to this romantic notion and this love notion that I have within, and then now I understand, because conversations have transpired to now I have a conclusion, and now I can put closure to that relationship, because I understand that fundamentally it was never about me. It was about the other party, where they were where they are in their life, what their own experiences and what their capacity to love is, and that's no reflection on me, you know. And then the other thing is that sometimes we're not given the closure. Sometimes, you know, people are that caught up in their own pitfalls and their own trying to manage meeting their own needs, that they can't even think about the other party and what it feels like, what it truly feels like to the other person that's going through it. And when this happens, and when you create your own story, you really need to try to come to a conclusion where you need to accept that it is what it is, and don't try and hate that person because you're carrying animosity around that's going to eat you up eventually. And don't try and create this romantic notion of this love story within, because you're going to be stuck and you're never going to be able to move out of that space, to be able to be free to move on with your own life. So if you're not given those conclusions, I want you to practice, again, like I say with the anxiety, practice accepting. And I want you to use a technique that I'm currently using at the moment, because when you have heartbreak, and when you feel like you have given your heart to someone who doesn't reciprocate those feelings the same way as you, it's destroying. It's heartbreaking. But I want you to see things from the perspective of me and what I'm doing and what I'm saying to myself right now, currently going through accepting and understanding these things, is that when my thoughts and feelings are going towards that person now, I lovingly tell myself to take that energy back. And I say it with the words of love. I literally say, I'm lovingly taking my energy back now, and I'm putting it where it belongs, within me. So it's a really simple thing to do, and it would be ideal to say, if someone's not reciprocating the love that you're giving out, and there's a breakup and there's no communication, to just stop those thoughts and feelings of that person, right? Stop having those thoughts, and they never existed. You know, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. You've got to go through the emotion. You've got to go through the thoughts and the feelings. But now I'm accepting the situation. Now I'm accepting the closure. I now understand what I have to do, and I have to lovingly take my energy back, so that those romantic, idealist feelings, thoughts and views that I had towards the person, when I'm having the rumination of that love, then I tell myself, I'm taking this energy back. I'm lovingly taking my love back, and I'm putting it back into my heart where it should be. And not once am I saying hateful things, hurtful things. I'm thanking that person for the experiences, because long term I know that when I look back on these experiences, I'm going to look back on these experiences with, you gave, you loved, you did everything that you could to show the affection, the love, the caring, the consistency. And I'll never look back and say, I should have, would have, could have, you know, because I gave with all my heart, and I would have been prepared to have gone the distance. And that was me. And so you can't live always in the moments of now, and it's the same with the anxiety. You have to sit knowing and trying, knowing that the future outcome, because we always learn from these things, you know, anything that you've gone through, you have to realise that there's a process to get to where you've got to now. And you have to believe in the fact that in the future that you're going to look back on those moments and you've got a choice of how you dealt with it in that moment. I'm currently going through it. I'm currently going through anxiety. I'm currently going through accepting the love that I had and I lost. And I know that this is how I'll look back on it in the future. And so it's a different angle, it's accepting, but it's in a different way. But I want you to just be able to use this and frame it, and never think that you have to change the person you are. Let your light shine, give your love freely, because I want you to understand that when you give your love without needing to always get things back at the time that you want it, when you want it, when you learn those lessons of, I can't control this and all I can do is accept and still give love, then you are learning these lessons that are going to make you feel so good about yourself in the future. And you're going to look at yourself and you're going to say, God, aren't you a good person for still giving and still not making your heart closed off. So I hope this resonates with someone who's going through heartbreak right now, that you have to sit in those moments, you have to feel. And if you don't, and you carry these things around with you, it will come out eventually. You can only run away from emotions for so long, and it will come out. And trust me, when it comes out, you won't be happy with the outcome. If you sit and deal with these emotions now, you will feel so much better in the future. So I hope this has resonated and made a difference with you today, and I'll see you in the next one.